Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the SCORE Indianapolis hosted webinar, Digital Marketing Strategies, Marketing Post COVID-19. We will be starting in exactly 5 minutes at the top of the hour, 12 o'clock noon Eastern Standard Time. So stand by and stay tuned. Hello, everyone. We will be starting right at 12 noon today. But in the meantime, we'd like to welcome you and have a little pre-party in the chat. So if you can do us a quick favor and just let us know your name and where you're tuning in from today, we would appreciate it. And if you have any questions about digital marketing that you would like an answer to during our presentation, drop that in the chat as well. Hi, Trisha from Indianapolis. Thanks for joining us. Welcome, Chris W. I believe that the webinar settings are designed, Trisha, that you're already muted. Bill, I'm just going to double check with my co-host Bill from SCORE that is the case.
Yes, the way this is set up is the only microphones that can work are yours and mine. The rest are muted.
Okay, perfect. You're very welcome. Hello, Nishi from Whitestown. Good afternoon, Cosetta. I'm happy to see you here. And everyone, if you have questions again about digital marketing or digital marketing right now, we're covering 5 strategies today, but that does not mean that your question cannot be about something else. So if you have a question about search engine optimization, Google My Business, YouTube advertising, which is a new and emerging hot topic, please drop it down in the chat. No question is off limits. We are prepared to cover it all today as long as it's brought up in the chat. Just to let you all know, if you've ever seen a presentation with me before, I think that we've done this 2 other times before, earlier this year. You know that I love a good conversation and some great engagement. So I have included 3 questions in the presentation today. There is unfortunately no prize, but you do get a virtual high five from us today. And the good feeling of knowing that you answered the question right, because there are multiple choice. So keep the engagement flowing. I love it. And it ensures that we actually have a fun time as well as an informative presentation today. We have 1 minute to go, ladies and gentlemen. And to make sure that we get all of our housekeeping items taken care of, again, welcome. We are talking about digital marketing strategies, marketing post-COVID-19. If you have a question about digital marketing, please feel free to drop it into the chat. Everyone is muted, so you should be able to hear us clearly. But if you have something to communicate, whether it's comments or a question, again, drop it in the chat. We will be going max time, 90 minutes today, so we will be fully wrapped up by 1:30 p.m. The presentation portion is designed to go about 45 minutes to an hour, and then we will open it up for Q&A.
Okay, Toya, we're right at noon. So this is Bill Petrovic. I'm a SCORE mentor here in Indianapolis and hosting this webinar. The webinar is Top 5 Digital Marketing Strategies to Grow Your Business. And it's being presented by SCORE Indianapolis. We are a volunteer organization helping entrepreneurs. Our mission is to foster small business communities through mentoring and education. And this is the education side of it. Mentoring also occurs at our chapter, and if you're interested in it, we do free 1-hour mentoring sessions with 2 mentors. It's accessible through our website, indianapolis.score.org. So our speaker is Toya Wilson-Smith. Toya is also a SCORE mentor. She is an expert in digital marketing. When early on in the COVID pandemic, Toya was presenting a couple webinars for us on this subject, which really helped us kick off our webinars. We had to switch from face-to-face to webinars, and it's been really rewarding. We've had a lot of attendance and a lot of good topics got covered, and we've been able to reach out to people who were even in different geographies than us, which is great. But Toya has presented webinars on subjects like this, actually through a number of different SCORE chapters, and talking before this webinar started. So far this year, this will be her 29th webinar. So you're not dealing with a greenhorn here. She's been there, done that. She's heard all the questions. So feel free to challenge her and get your question answered. As mentioned just a minute ago, max time for this is 1.5 hours. We want to get through the presentation, share all that information with you, but we also want you to have a chance to interact with our speaker here. When the webinar is finished, we take this and make a YouTube video out of it and put it out on our website where all our other webinars are. So if you're ever looking in YouTube, you want to search Indianapolis SCORE, you can see webinars that we've held throughout the year, and you can watch those at your leisure. But we'll be sending you that link a few days after this webinar. It takes a little bit of time to edit it and upload it. But we're ready to go. People are still streaming in, but that's okay. We have a critical mass here, and Toya, please take it away.
Thank you so much, Bill. I appreciate the warm introduction. Happy Wednesday, everybody. We are tasked to talk about one thing and one thing only today, and that is what are the top digital marketing strategies that you can implement or expand upon in your business to keep attracting new clients and customers so that hopefully you finish the year of 2020 better than you probably started. So I know that we have had a lot going on as business owners, right? I don't want to suggest that if you employ either any one of these strategies or all of them, that will resolve the larger issues. But I do want to strongly encourage you that after this webinar, take one of these strategies at minimum and integrate them into your marketing mix. And hopefully Q4 will find your business still earning revenue so that you can meet not only your financial obligations, but also hopefully an increase in revenue as the year ends. Please, again, if you have any questions, put them in the chat. I love engagement, and I'm hoping to make this webinar, because as Bill said, this is my 29th one, just as fun and engaging as it is informative. With that being said, shall we jump right into our agenda? So we're going to do a couple of things. The first one is, let's talk about how marketing has changed since COVID-19 has really hit the United States. Then I want to share with you 5 strategies that you can implement into your Q4 marketing mix, because we're already in that fourth quarter. My, how time has flown by, right? That hopefully, again, will help continue attracting customers. And then Bill will join back into our presentation and talk about how you can get more assistance if you need it. So let's move forward with the quotes. And this quote comes from Scott Cook, who is the founder of the tech company Intuit. Scott says, "A brand is no longer what we tell the consumer it is. It is what consumers tell each other it is." Let me read that to you one more time. A brand is no longer what we tell the consumer it is. It is what consumers tell each other it is. Now, my way of phrasing this is word of mouth marketing is not dead. Okay, people are still buying things. People are still spending money, and people are still sharing with each other their recommendations from restaurants to clothing websites to any number of things. I will give you a story to illustrate my point. Labor Day weekend, we decided to host a social distancing get together, which was a cookout in our backyard, which is six of family members. And we did not want to actually barbecue or prepare a full meal. We wanted to have parts of it catered. So a friend of mine shared with me a caterer in Indianapolis that she had heard was really good, and she had actually tested some of their food and said it was great. And so I ordered it. This caterer did not have a website. They only had a Facebook page and a Cash App. Let me rephrase. They only had a Facebook page and a Cash App. They were making 80% of their revenues just with their Facebook page and word of mouth. So when I went to go pick up the order the day of our event, the person that owned the business actually said that these last 4 to 5 months have been the best that they've had in over a year in terms of revenue. Let that sink in. It's been the best that they've had in the last year or so of revenue, and it was all because of Facebook groups and word of mouth marketing. So there are businesses that are making money still and having a really good time in terms of their business attracting new customers. They're having a good experience. And so I will share with you 2 more stories similar to that about businesses in other industries to illustrate what they're doing that might serve you as well. So let's discuss the impact of COVID-19 on marketing. Okay, let's talk about that for just a second. And I will be going to Q&A back and forth. So if you have a question or a comment, right, you can either drop it in Q&A or you can drop it in the chat. And so I'm checking it right now because I saw the notification. And someone, Heather says that she was told not to bother with Facebook because people don't go there to make a purchase. Well, I would say, Heather, that's yes and no. I agree and disagree with that. Facebook is a great platform to actually have brand awareness, to increase brand awareness for your business, right? Now, is it true that people click through on an ad and actually buy from that ad on Facebook? Facebook is the third social network where people actually buy from, okay? So you might be surprised. Pinterest is number one. Instagram is number two, and then Facebook is number three on that list in terms of dollars spent on average. I think Facebook is like $70 per year, and Pinterest is $160 per year. And those statistics are a couple of years old from HubSpot. But in terms of brand awareness, I would definitely say that Facebook is a place that you want to be. Even if you're not there on a regular basis, definitely consider keeping up your Facebook fan page once a week with evergreen content. But we'll talk about that a little bit later in our presentation. But thank you for the comment. So COVID-19 impact is really showing us increased screen time. As you can read on the slide, the New York Times published, "The coronavirus has changed the way we internet." That's a direct quote. Screen time around the world, so this is not just the United States, but screen time around the world is now the highest in history and may very well stay that way into next year, 2021. Now, what we're seeing also is that other countries are buying just as much or more right now. For example, Brazil, the number of people that are visiting my website and some of my clients' websites from Brazil, India, Singapore have gone up as well. So you definitely, if you are selling things and you have the ability to ship internationally, of course you have to weigh out the cost versus benefit options. That may be something that you want to consider as well. Secondly, in terms of impact, is remote work and learning. COVID-19 has impacted the way that we're working and learning from home, right? Which is also directly impacting the way that we socialize. So now we're having more Zoom parties to celebrate birthdays and baby showers and things like that. So emerging trends are starting to occur. And if there's ways that you can take advantage of that from a business perspective, that is something you should be thinking about also. And then finally, there are some businesses like movie theaters that are having a rough time, right? And people are not planning on going back to the movies, but drive-ins are still doing well because people can social distance by being in their car. Other industries, though, are seeing new emerging trends. So restaurants, for example, that are now offering takeout orders or working with places like Grubhub and Uber Eats that are delivering orders are doing well and are back, in some cases, on an upswing. So let's move on to our first question. And this is going to require some engagement from you. First question is, where can you find information about new industry trends? What are people doing? What are people buying as it relates to your business? Where can you find information about new industry trends that you can literally type into this website? In 5 minutes, you will see something just like that that will give you more information. Is it A, Google Trends? Is it B, Facebook Analytics? Or is it C, you need to create a survey for your customers to find out? Again, option 1 is Google Trends. Option 2 is Facebook Analytics. And option 3 is to create a survey for your customers. Now, you might not be marketing gurus. You might still be figuring it out. So give me your best guess. I'm trying to get at least a certain percentage of our people today to answer the question in the chat. So let me know. We're going to check the chat now and see what we're getting. Okay. Some people are saying A, Google Trends. We have a few people that are saying A. So it looks like A's are having it. I think A's are going to be the overwhelming winner. And if you said A, congratulations, virtual high five, right? Virtual high five in the screen. You see my picture? You are correct. But it was a little bit of a trick question. Okay, because I've asked this question before, and in fact, I asked it in my 28th webinar on Monday, and somebody brought to my attention that it's a trick question. It could be all 3 of the answers, and they were right. It could definitely be all 3 of the answers. Can you get information about new industry trends from Facebook Analytics? Yes, you can. Although it's a little bit more difficult to kind of piece together. And you could create a survey for your customers to kind of find out what they're thinking or doing or buying. But Google Trends is going to give you a comprehensive answer in terms of trends. And I like the fact that you can break it down based on time of year or seasonality, and you can also break it down on location. So yes, you're absolutely right. If you have any questions about Google Trends, let me know in the chat. If you've ever used Google Trends, tell me that in the chat as well. Okay, anybody ever used Google Trends? So while I'm waiting for you to answer me on that question, let's move to our first strategy of our time together. Strategy number 1 is you have to make sure that people know that your brand is out there. If people don't know that your business is out there offering the best solution to their problem, are they going to buy from you? Kind of problematic if they don't even know you exist. So in my story that I shared with you at the beginning of this presentation about the caterer, I didn't know that the caterer was out there. Now, turns out that I have a lot of friends and colleagues that have used this caterer in the past few months since COVID has, put us in a lockdown or at least a social distance mode, that love this particular business. But I didn't know that because I had never asked the question. So how do you enhance your discoverability? The easiest way to integrate this particular strategy is to do 2 things. The first one is make sure that you have listed your business in all of the directories that matter. So Yelp, Super Pages, White Pages, all of those listings that will help and integrate well with Google, you need to make sure you have a complete listing on all of those directories. And you see that our first tool that is being mentioned is called Moz, M-O-Z, local. So you can literally put your business and your address and zip code into Moz, and they will return back a list of directories that you either A, should be a part of, or B, you might have an incomplete listing, and then you can go and make sure that the name, address, and phone number are the same. So if you're on Westfield Boulevard, then you need to actually spell out Westfield, and then however you decide to spell Boulevard, if it's B as in boy, L, B as in Victor, D as in David, period, that is how you need to put it on Google My Business and all of the other directory listings. It will help tremendously with search engine optimization, AKA, or also known as showing up on Google page 1 if you have the name, address, and phone number spelled the same way or written or typed the same way in every directory listing, including Google My Business and on your website. If it's not, you will have trouble appearing and staying on Google page 1, okay? So go to Moz Local, see what directory listings you need to complete or need to fill out, and then watch your search engine optimization rankings improve. And typically, it only takes a few days. Now, if you are starting from scratch and you say, Toya, I just don't have the time to do that, I get it. There's another website called Fiverr, F as in Frank, IVERR.com, and you can hire someone for a very reasonable price to do this work for you. And they will also provide a spreadsheet typically to show all of the listings and what they put into those listings for you. So once you have that done, what I want you to do is also go to your local communities, like your chambers of commerce or other business listings directories, and make sure that your business is there as well. Now, your bonus task, and it looks like that slide is not showing up properly, sorry about that, is to use Google My Business regularly. Can you do that? Use Google My Business regularly. So what I am referring to is the fact that Google My Business is a free tool from Google, and it allows business owners to actually communicate with people who are already searching for the solution that you provide, the products that you might sell, or the services that you offer, and you can communicate with prospective customers that way. So a fact that you may or may not be aware of is that Google is responsible for 87% of mobile searches and 75% of desktop searches. Now, what does that mean? We've gone from the Google 7-pack a few years ago, where 7 businesses would show up on Google page 1, to 5, and then 3 into the Google Maps. And that was all because we were looking for answers, products, and businesses on our smartphones more than desktop computers, okay? So let's say you're not on Google page 1 as of yet, or the competition is very stiff. If you start doing some of these things, it increases your chances significantly of appearing on Google page 1. So I have a question for you for the chat to answer this question. If you're looking for a business, right? Let's say you're looking for an auto mechanic or a locksmith or a new hairstylist for the ladies that are joining us today. How many times do you actually go past Google page 1 for a business, or the answer to your question? If somebody goes past Google page 1, tell me in the chat. I never ever do. And while I wait for your answers to that, I'm going to chat the answers to my question about Google Trends. So it looks like people rarely have used Google Trends. It is very helpful, especially if your business has a seasonal nature to it. If you've noticed in the past couple of years that you sell more in the spring and summer, then you want to use Google Trends. I guarantee you that it can be a game changer as well. So, and Google Trends, Chris, I believe if that's what you're referring to, it is a website. It's a URL. So you can put Google Trends into Google search, and you should be able to click on the website and find it. So most people say they never go past Google page 1. Trisha says, yes, only to get past the paid Google listings. I love it. Cosetta says rarely. And then Joyce is one of our exceptions to the rules. She says she goes past page 1. And then Heidi says only for research. Okay, thank you for the engagement. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm loving it. I will go past Google page 1 rarely, only if I haven't been able to find what I'm looking for on the first page. If I find a good solution, which most of the time, like 85 to 90% of the time I do, I will go past Google page one. But now what Google is doing, because they own YouTube, they're integrating videos now and images and snippets into the first page of Google. So this is a perfect stopping point for me to tell you my next story. One of my clients sells American-made cat products. So cat bowls, cat toys, all sorts of cat products that are amazing for the new cat owner. And she has a blog as part of her website. One of her blog posts, does where you place your cat bowls really matter to your cat, actually was indexed by Google and showing up on Google page one. That drives that one little blog post that is now a snippet on Google page one for that keyword phrase, drives the majority of her traffic, like by 60%. 60% of her new website traffic comes from people reading that blog post and finding it on Google page one. That's not paid advertising. That's not her email list. It is solely from being on Google page one for that blog post. So is blogging worth it? Yes. So we'll talk about that a little later. Secondly, though, when she looked at her Google Analytics, while her traffic was coming from that blog post, her sales, her number one source of new sales was coming from her email list. But where were the people that were joining her email list coming from? It's like a spider web, right? They were coming from people that went to her website to read the blog post. So does everybody start to see how all of this digital marketing works together? Okay. So a couple of ways, back to the slide, on how you can use Google My Business. You can add a video to your listing, a good 60-second video that talks about why your product is perfect for prospective customers, or giving people insight into your business will be a good idea, especially for people that have not ever bought or shopped with you before. You can also publish a Google update every single week. They expire after 7 days. And then you want to continuously get more and more reviews. So if you have a negative review, or if you unfortunately get a negative review, if you have 15, 20 positive reviews, that will help cushion the blow from negative reviews. And then you can advertise on YouTube. It really does help, because now people are watching more YouTube videos than ever. So if you have any questions about Google My Business, please let me know in the chat. If not, we are moving on to marketing quiz question number 2. What is the new Google service that allows you to appear on top of the Google 3-pack? We all know that most businesses that appear in the Google 3-pack get the lion's shares of clicks. Maybe not the lion's shares of customers, but definitely the lion's share of clicks, which can lead to people spending money with you. So, question again, what new Google service? And when I say it's new, it's been around for about a year, so it's not new, but most people are still unaware of it. So that's why I'm using the word new. What new Google service allows you to appear on top of the Google 3-pack? Is it A, Google AdWords? You all know those Google ads that we see all the time when we do a search. Is it B, Google Local Service Guarantee? Or is it C, YouTube advertising? A, B, or C, Google AdWords, Google Local Service Guarantee, or YouTube advertising? So let's take a look and see what say you. So we're getting a mixed bag this time. Some people are saying YouTube ads. Some people are saying Google AdWords. Some people are saying local. So B or C. And then some of you, okay, so now we're getting some more B's. Local. Okay. So if you said Google Local Service Guarantee, you are absolutely correct. So high five to you and The audience that are guessing correctly, it is Google Local Service Guarantee. That is correct. So what does that look like? Okay. Why would someone really use Google Local Service Guarantee? And I want to go over this before we get into strategy number 2. Okay. Google Local Service Guarantee and is one of those things where you can leapfrog over your competition and show up before the ad. Okay. Again, before the ads, you can use Google Local Service Guarantee to show up. And so it is good and was designed for certain industries like locksmith or water damage restoration companies, or a company that maybe a towing service or a cleaning service. So companies that will, when they're shown up in Google search, you're in a hurry to get someone that is reputable because it is relatively a little bit of an emergency, or you need someone sooner than later. Does not mean that it wouldn't work for other industries, but that's where we have experienced the best return on investment. It is part of Google AdWords. So if you said Google AdWords, I'll give you partial credit for that, because you have to go through Google AdWords to participate in that program. Now, because it's relatively new, to use Google Local Service Ads is going to be less expensive than if you ran just a regular Google AdWords campaign, which is nice, right? And so you just need to submit like your business name, the address, and some other information. It takes about 10 minutes to fill out the 1-page questionnaire or application. Google gives you a response in usually 48 to 72 hours of yay or nay, because they have a little check mark that says Google Guarantee, so people can feel comfortable that Google has checked out the business before they go ahead and move forward. And then any reviews you have tied to your Google My Business listing will show up as well. So it is really a beneficial service that will allow you to leapfrog over the ads as well as the other Google Maps listings to show up at the very top of the page. So if you have your phone next to you, like I do, like I keep my phone with me, just take a second to do a search for like locksmith. Even if you did locksmith Indianapolis, there are companies that are showing up there. Locksmith Charlotte, North Carolina, there are Google Local Service ads that show up there if you want to see it in action. Okay. So strategy number 2, determine your differentiation in your industry. Again, determine your differentiation in your industry. Are you the best option because you're more reasonably priced than your competitors? Do you have the products that are most innovative in comparison to your competitors? What makes you special? What makes your business unique? What makes your product better than the others in your industry? And where you can find some more information about what customers think, what prospective customers are feeling, is start with conducting a website audit. Remember what I just said about my client that sells made in the USA cat products, right? Called the AmeriCat Company. She did not find out about the sales from an email marketing perspective until we did a deep analysis on using Google Analytics. So Google provides you with another tool that is free called Google Analytics. And Google Analytics is very, very helpful. Does it take a little bit of study to understand how to read the dashboards correctly? Yes, but they have templates that will help you. If you are with Strikingly, Weebly, Wix, GoDaddy, a lot of those website platforms actually will have the ability to integrate Google Analytics. So it's worth taking a look at your website analytics to understand, are people converting, or when I say converting, are they signing up for your email list, or are they buying from your website? That's the question. And if they are buying from your website, where are those people coming from? If those people are coming from your email list, so every time you send out an email, they're buying, and it will say, you know, it's coming from your email list. You can create Google Analytics to show you that. Is it worth venturing into social media paid advertising? So for an example, with the AmeriCat company, we started a YouTube channel. She was posting more on Facebook and Instagram. When we looked at Google Analytics again, we were still getting more sales, or the most sales, from email. But she was only sending out one email a month. So what happens if you send out maybe one email a week or 3 emails a month? We fully would like to test what happens, because if sales go up with the number of emails that go out, maybe that is the way to go. So let me know in the chat, please. Do you use Google Analytics? And I'm just going to take a sip of water. Okay, so we have mixed. First few people said no, but they will start now. I love it. Some people said yes. Some people say they will just review the summary you received by email. Kyle saying absolutely. Okay, thank you. And Trisha, just reviewing by the summary that you received by email also is a good thing, a good place to start. But I've noticed, because that's what I used to do personally, is I used to just review that summary by email. But I've noticed that you get more information, like time spent on page and referral source traffic as well. You can delve deeper into it when you actually go into the dashboard. So I will say that from a personal experience. Okay, so the bonus task is, if you are not using Google Analytics, right, please set up Google Analytics for your website. Analyzing the trends on your website by creating dashboards is certainly worth the time. And if you don't know how to set up Google Analytics for your website, no worries. Hopefully your website designer does. But if you don't, there are plenty of YouTube help or tutorial videos on the subject. So let's keep going. Strategy number 3 is about content marketing. And I don't know about you all, I'm going to be transparent, but I love the idea of what blogging can do for you and your business, but I just did not ever make the time to blog on a regular basis. Am I the only one that felt that way? Like, I just don't have time to blog or write an article, and I didn't feel it important enough to pay someone to write articles on behalf of my business. So let's talk about why and if you should use content marketing. Under reach, which is the first yellow box, blogging still works, but I want to focus in on the number. For those businesses that use some type of content marketing, including blogging, they get a 113% return on investment. That number is pretty high. That number is pretty substantial. Okay, I'm looking in the chat, everybody, and someone says there's an echo that's going on with my voice. Somebody's mic is open. So if you are having trouble hearing me, please let us know in the chat. I think I hear a little bit of the echo now that I'm waiting. And now the echo has gone away. So if you're having trouble hearing me, please tell me again in the chat. Or better yet, let me know if you can hear me clearly and you can see the slides. Thanks, Hattie. You're saying it's okay now. So I'm going to assume that it's okay for everybody. Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right, Heather, thank you. It's all good. Chris, okay, perfect. Thank you all for letting me know that. So blogging and other content marketing does really work and give you a return on investment of your time. So if you don't like to write, is there other ways that you can take advantage of content marketing? And the answer is yes. Different forms of content can help with search engine optimization, as well as increase the number of people joining your email list, the number of people that are following you on social media, as well as the number of people, most importantly, that spend money with your business. So content does help with all of those things, but in the box, of course, it says search engine optimization. Now, the two most popular forms of content now that are starting to emerge, blogging has not gone anywhere. Articles are still among the top types of content, but video and podcasting are ranked on top of Google now for competitive keywords. So if you're having problems showing up on Google page 1, might you start a YouTube channel? Yes. Does that mean that you have to create a video every day? No, it does not. Does that mean that you may need to create some evergreen content and put it in video form on your YouTube channel because it's owned by Google? Yes, you should consider that. If you prefer not showing up on screen, you can then consider doing a podcast as well. The one thing that I want you to take away, though, from this brief discussion on content marketing is that there are two parts to content marketing. There's the creation part, so developing the content, whether it is in written or video form, and it's the promotion of that content. So you have to make sure that people know the content exists, right? So to do that, once you write and publish your blog post on your website, you need to go and share that article or that blog post everywhere. So you need to put down your social media accounts. You might even turn that into a podcast episode. You might be able to make that into a video using my second tool of the day. It's one of my new favorites. It's called Lumen, L-U-M as in Mary, E as in Edward, N5, Lumen 5, and I absolutely love it. It's an AI tool. What it does is it actually will turn your written content into a video in about 3 minutes. So you literally just copy and paste the link to your blog article and it will add pictures. Yes, Heather, it's Lumen 5. That's exactly right. You spelled it correctly. And it will turn it into a video for you. And all you have to do is download it. Say what? Yes. I love tech tools. So if you are not a person that wants to be in front of the camera, but you want to take advantage of video and video marketing, Lumen 5 is something you should check out. And guess what? It has a free version. So you can try it at no cost. Okay. And then share it everywhere. Share it in your email newsletters. Share it on your social media accounts. And most importantly, put it on your website. Okay. Joyce is asking, is it costly? I think, Joyce, the next tier up from free is about $7 to $10 a month. But what I like to do is actually use it for free, see if you like it, see if you get traction from it. And then if you do, sign up for the service for a month and create 7, 8, 10 videos. And then you should have enough for a good period of time that you can stop the paid version and go back to the free version, or when you have exhausted those videos, go back and do another paid month and create another batch. So I'm all a fan of creating batch content. Okay, batch content is the best way to make sure that you're creating content on a regular basis, but that evergreen content is good and you can share that over time. Okay, so I'll let you read the rest of the boxes. Building your email list with content is helpful because you can offer something free, or you can offer a piece of content in exchange for an email address, like a quiz, for example. So I'm coming up with a quiz that will help business owners discover the social media website that they need to spend most of their time on. Because you can be in a lot of different places without truly being present on every single platform. Okay. And then promotion. You can use content to promote new products or services. Like, I love video demonstrations of new products. They can be really, really helpful. Or I'm a visual person, so I love images and video. So I think that that can be very helpful. Okay. So the next strategy is updating your client avatars. And those client avatars need to be, right now, COVID specific. So how is COVID impacting, again, your clients or customers? How are those people feeling about your products or services or your industry? So I like to break them down into 3 strategies, right? Or 3 lanes. The first one is my past customers. Are those past customers becoming brand ambassadors? Are they singing the praises of my business or what we've done for them to other folks that are calling us, asking to do business with us? So there are different types of customers, right? There are customers that are saying, okay, you're good, I had a good time, and then you may or may not hear from them again. Then there are other customers that love your business and they keep coming back. And then there are past customers that actually are good customers that keep buying from you. So they're increasing in the lifetime transaction value, or LTV, for your business, but they're also sending other customers. So I want to show you something. It's a lip gloss, right? I'm gonna put it towards the camera. And it's from a new company called Undisturbed. And they had a program that allowed you to become a brand ambassador. Today, in the 45 days that they've been launched, because they're brand new, I have referred 4 customers to them, right? So I got free products, but they have made money on the people that I've referred to them. Yes? If you had a brand ambassador program, or let me know in the chat, do you have people that are referring new customers to your business? Yes or no? Are there people that are calling you or visiting your website that say, hey, I heard from my friend or my family member about your business and I would like more information? Sherry says yes. If the majority of you are not experiencing that, then you need to think about a strategy that can get people into doing that. Now, you can name it. You can call it a brand ambassador program. You can get people that you can give out business cards with numbers on the back to say, hey, here's 4 business cards. If you give it to your friends and family and they come and spend money with us or call us, we'll give you a discount on future services. There are all kinds of ways that you can do that to help attract new customers. So if you don't have it happening right now, then I encourage you to kind of sit and think about what you can do to inspire that. So I had a client in Wilmington, North Carolina, where I used to live, that did upholstery in vehicles and for restaurants and planes. So they got their start by doing upholstery in luxury vehicles, but more so classic cars, right? So very specialty niche. And he came to us because he wanted a website and he wanted to do social media advertising. 80% of his business was on word of mouth or referrals. 80%, 80%, and it wasn't inexpensive. So my question to him was, well, why are we doing social media ads? I can see a website because you just want something for someone to point to. But he would give out these business cards to past customers, didn't have any codes or anything. He wasn't offering a discount. Just say, hey, if you know someone that is looking for our services, give us our heart. That's it. And more people were starting to go to call him. And so it was working. Now, that was a low tech. I wouldn't even say low tech. That was a no tech way of using customer loyalty and brand marketing. Is there a way that you can use social media or your website to do that? So I employ, as we go into not only Q4, but 2021, for you to think about that. Okay. Saves money. And those people are already kind of halfway sold, right, on your brand. So second type of customer is the referral. They've heard about you somewhere. They may have seen you on social media. They're thinking about doing business with you. They may have visited your website or called you, but now they need more information. What can you give those people to move them from tire kickers or potential customers to actual paying customers? And that's where content marketing can help. If you send them emails, that can help move them down the buyer's journey to actually whipping out their credit card and buying from you. So I have an example. A client that I worked with last year actually called me and said, I saw your workshop in somewhere in North or South Carolina 3 years prior. 3 years prior. And I kept your business card and I went to your website, but I was on your email list and I got your email newsletter every month and I got some of your training videos. And I said, when I was in a place to need help with my social media advertising, that you would be the person to call because I got your business card, but I was consistently getting your emails. And then they said, do you remember me? I met you. I was like, unfortunately not, but thank you for calling me. Like, we appreciate it. And we went on to have a very nice working relationship. And so you want to make sure that when people are ready to buy, whether it is after one phone conversation or 3 years down the line, that you are the business that they contact. So you have to stay in touch with them. Then the other client avatar is, right, prospect. They may know your brand exists, but they don't have any type of point of reference. So they may have seen it on LinkedIn. They might be a LinkedIn connection. They may be a Facebook fan. They may have seen that their friend liked or commented on your social network like Facebook or Instagram or even the YouTube channel. And so they are thinking about it. They might need assistance. So for that purpose, you want to make sure that you are creating what I like to call an authority platform. So they look at you as the expert. They look at you as the business that they might want to buy from or do work with at some point in time. How do you draw them in is through your social media accounts and your email, right? So your content marketing and your email, because you just want to move them down, maybe slowly, maybe not, from awareness to buyer. So think about the customer journey in your mind and start to work towards moving those people from awareness to paid customer. So I have an example. I had a client that we are working with from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and they are a restaurant. They're a locally owned restaurant, and one of their specialties is gumbo. Now, they serve several other menu items, a ton of other menu items, from soups and sandwiches to pasta dishes to chicken, all sorts of things. But they did not realize until a customer told them, a repeat customer, said, I love your gumbo. I told my neighbors about your gumbo. I told my friends, my coworkers about your gumbo. And they started doing some research on how much gumbo was selling in comparison to other things. And so I said, well, we need to do a Facebook ad to test the theory, right? On the gumbo selling out. We did one Facebook post with a $15 ad. One Facebook post with a $15 ad that was responsible for people calling them for days and up to about 2 weeks afterwards wanting to place orders for gumbo, so much so that they were running out of gumbo every single day. Again, they were running out of gumbo every single day. It's now their number one most popular dish, and people are driving up from like 15 to 20 miles away just to get their gumbo and ordering takeout. They're not even having to work with Grubhub or Uber Eats because people are driving to pick it up by the like big bowls full from their family. So once you have a theory, the next step is to do the research and then test that theory. Okay. So if anybody has a question about customer avatars, please let us know in the chat. Okay. So strategy number 5, which is our final strategy, and it looks like we are almost right on time because it is 12:55, and then we're going to work in a Q&A session, is identify potentially your key paid advertising channels. What channels would be good for you to advertise on to scale? So I want to keep this simplistic. I want to make it easy to implement these things and integrate these things into your marketing mix. So let me break down a couple of things that you should keep in mind before you spend money on paid ads. First of all, Facebook, you can go from awareness to actual customer purchases. And there are a couple of ways to do that, regardless of industry. How many of you knew that you can add a store on Facebook and people can buy right from your Facebook fan page? Did everybody know that? Did everybody know that you can integrate store and take people's credit cards and their money straight through Facebook? Okay. Nisha says yes. Heather says no. Heidi says yes. Joyce says no. Okay. So one of the things that you can do is create a store on your Facebook fan page and then run ads to the store, to the actual product. So don't run an ad, just a brand awareness ad. Make sure that you are running an ad about the actual product or service. And the best way to do that is either tell a story about the business or have a testimonial from a past client about the product. Can't be any kind of testimonial. A video testimonial works best, but a slam dunk testimonial where they absolutely are singing your product's praises is even better. The other consideration for social media ads when it involves Facebook is boost posts is a nice option, right? It is not a way that you just are throwing your money down the drain, but you have to use it correctly. So don't just use your friends and fans. Make sure you're filling out the interest box and you doing targeted Facebook ads based on zip code and based on people's interests. So when we ran the ad for the restaurant for their gumbo, we targeted people that liked New Orleans cuisine, that liked takeout orders, that were ordering from restaurants on a regular basis. So we didn't show the ad to just everybody. We showed the ad to those people within a 10-mile radius. So be very deliberate with your Facebook ads. And then finally, when it comes to Facebook ads, because Facebook owns Instagram, make sure whether you show up on Instagram or not, create an Instagram account and show that ad on Instagram. You don't need to be posting regularly on Instagram to take advantage of the Instagram audience. Remember what I said before, Instagram people, Instagram users buy stuff more than people do on Facebook. So do you want to be just showing up to people who are potentially interested, who are just in the awareness phase, or do you want people who are passionate about what they like and are willing to literally pull out their credit card, right, and buy stuff right there at that time? So make sure that your ads are showing up on both Facebook and Instagram. Now, YouTube helps with repeat business. I do love a good YouTube video ad, and now you can get views for 1 to 3 cents per view. So you can get thousands of views for $10. Why wouldn't you do it? And then finally, Pinterest. I know on the screen that I have the Instagram logo, says it works to increase brand awareness as well. But Pinterest actually has a paid advertising option. So that's where most people are spending money. So if you have a visual product like jewelry, clothing, anything that has to do with a visual impact, people need to see it or want to see it before they buy, Pinterest is a place that you should consider. Okay, so it is right at the top of the hour. It's 1 o'clock. And so what I want to do is tell you what to do next really quickly. So let me ask, has the 5 pieces or 5 strategies that we've covered been helpful? Let me know in the chat. Tammy, not for CBD products. No, please don't use Facebook for Facebook ads or Instagram ads for CBD products. Please don't do that. They will eat you up and you will be frustrated. But I will tell you, Pinterest and YouTube, that's where you should be. And surprisingly enough, LinkedIn articles would be helpful as well. So everybody's saying that it has been helpful, that it's pretty simple, and hopefully there are things that you can integrate. So now what I want to tell you is, regardless of whether you have a Facebook ad budget or not, right? Or an Instagram ad budget or not, or a YouTube ad budget or not, there are some things that you can do that don't cost you any money, just a little bit of time. So I really want people to go and create some content and just share the content online. What did I say before? Word of mouth marketing is still very much alive, even in today's environment. And it helps with education. And buyers now are more savvy than ever, and they do more research than ever. So do me a favor, create 3 pieces of evergreen content. Just three. That's all I'm asking. Between like now and the next 2 weeks, you can do 3. And you can do it very easily. I need you to write down, and if you can't do 10, do 5. 5 frequently asked questions that you get from past or prospective customers, right? So for me, I get a lot of, Toya, I just don't have time to create content. I don't have time to post on social media on a regular basis. I just can't. I don't want to, and I don't have time to. So that was a recurring question. So I created a piece of content that addresses how you can batch create content in one afternoon, like one weekend, one Saturday or Sunday afternoon, 3 hours, and you have enough content for the month, right? That's a YouTube video I have. Write down 5 to 10 frequently asked questions, and then develop a piece of content that answers the question or solves the problem for your potential customer. That goes a long way in helping your potential or prospective customer to seeing you as the expert or the preferred service provider, okay? So I see some people are writing down questions in the chat. I love it. And what I'm going to do right now is minimize the chat or minimize my screen, and I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to go to the chat and answer some questions. And Bill, if you want, you can jump in at any point.
Okay.
Somebody asked, I think Joyce asked that she would like to review the video again. Will this presentation be available for later review? Bill definitely has the answer to that question. I think, Bill, did you say that it's going to be on the SCORE YouTube channel?
Correct. All the webinars we've done are there now. So if you go to the YouTube search engine and put in Indianapolis SCORE, you can go back. You could see Toya's previous webinars from a few months ago. But this one will be there in a few days once we download it and upload it and clip off the beginning part where we were just chatting. But yes, it'll be out there and available. Plus, after the webinar, we send a thank you to everybody who registered, along with a link to that YouTube. So you'll get it, and it'll be easy to find.
Perfect. Thank you for that, Bill. Raza, I think, is asking, where should finance and accounting or bookkeeping services advertising work best? I think that you can actually use Facebook and Instagram advertising, but again, you want to make sure that you're using the targeting option in the Facebook, Instagram advertising platform specifically, right? And when I say targeting options, make sure that you are putting in small business owners, entrepreneurs, people that may read the Wall Street Business Journal, or even SCORE is an option in there as well. So people that read magazines for business owners or entrepreneurs are great targeting options. But YouTube ads, if you don't mind being on video, face to camera, because we've done this with financial planners, and cover one strategy, especially if it is timing related, like with COVID and what's going on with COVID, one strategy, and then ask them to visit your website to submit an email address, schedule a Zoom or virtual video meeting with you would also be beneficial. So let me know if you tried any of those things and how they work for you, or if not, any follow-up questions as well. I believe Heather said, how can we get on your email list and learn about future webinars that I give? Bill, we always send out webinar notifications through the SCORE email list. Can people join the SCORE email list just by visiting the website, or do they need to be an actual client? I think they need to be an actual client, right?
No, well, our email list that we use through Constant Contact is an accumulation of people who have been to SCORE for mentoring or have registered for webinars. So anybody who's been in a once you go to one webinar, you're on our email list unless you opt out, but you'll at least get one notice. You can also get on our email list by going to our website, indianapolis.score.org, but everybody who's watching this right now is on the email list, so there's no action needed. So you'll find out. Now, listen though, they're asking how they can learn about your webinars. We're only telling them about the ones you do in Indianapolis. So I don't know, what do you want to say about that?
So you can visit you can visit my personal website and join the email list there. That personal website is Toya Wilson-Smith, MBA. So Mary, Bob, or Bill, Anthony.com. You can go there, or you can drop your email address in the chat and I will follow up with you and send you a link to join. So either which way works fine with me. And that email newsletter, I actually send out once a month and then some training emails in between. Yes, Heather, MBA, just like that. I'm glad that you all found this webinar helpful. I hope that there are strategies that you can use. Remember the commitment. I'm just asking you to implement one strategy, just one. That's all. Okay. I'm going to, literally you all are seeing my phone come up so I can take a look at you all's email addresses. So I will be sending those follow-up emails in a day. You're very welcome, Trisha. Tammy, NorwoodNaturals.com. What does that do? Or do you create wood? Like, help us understand what it is your business is about.
CBD.
Oh,
CBD products.
Okay. I do love CBD. Bill, Tammy's a client of yours.
Oh, fantastic. Good to see things are still percolating along. Thanks, Tammy.
You're welcome, Cosetta. Thomas, you're very welcome. Well, I feel like we need to be playing some music. Like, I feel like this is the after party to the webinar. So are there any other questions about marketing? Anybody tried social media paid advertising and then it worked amazingly well or did not work at all? We have, oh, thank you, Tammy. I so appreciate your kind words. Janae, you tried it, you're still tweaking. Was it Facebook or Instagram or YouTube? Let me also say this for the 16 people that are still on here. YouTube advertising right now, they will actually, employees will help you set up your video advertising campaign. Number one, that's the first thing. That's amazing. The second thing, and you speak to a live person. So you're not sending a message, you can speak to a live person. And then secondly, if you spend $50 in ad credits or $50 in ad costs, they will give you $100 after that. So I love it. Oh, Janae, you have your own insurance agency. Okay. Janae, I would, as an insurance agent, I also would encourage you, I don't know if you've used LinkedIn, but I definitely would encourage you to start using LinkedIn and posting in groups that correspond or have your target client base in there. Tina, there will be a recording of this. Again, it will be posted on the SCORE YouTube channel. So the SCORE Indianapolis YouTube channel is where the replay will be housed in a few days. So check back or become a subscriber of the SCORE YouTube channel. And I'm assuming today's Wednesday, by about this weekend, you should see that video appear. Janae saying that you're still on LinkedIn, learning and working with that one too. Definitely, Janae, spend some time in LinkedIn as well, but I would say you have the opportunity to join up to 50 groups. Now, you don't need to join 50. I would say pick 5 to 7 groups that have a lot of engagement in them. And again, specifically your target customer or target client base, and start contributing to those groups and offering, hey, let's have a sit down there and watch your numbers of people wanting to connect with you go up. But over time, usually about 30 to 45 days, if you're on LinkedIn 2 to 3 times a week, your prospective clients contacting you, wanting to schedule meetings will go up. We've worked with a few insurance agents, and that is our number one go-to marketing strategy that tends to work well, even during COVID time. Okay, you've been using Hootsuite, posting 3 times a week. I hope that you're not posting other people's content to your LinkedIn every single time. Nope. Okay, good. Well, hopefully that will pay off soon. So we still have 13 people joining us or still here. Any other questions? Don't be shy. I'm going to share my screen and put my contact information again. My phone number is on the screen if you have any questions. My email address is on the screen. Also, the marketing agency website is on the screen, where you can join our email list and get on the calendar and see when our next webinars are. I will say one good thing about COVID, not that there is a good thing about COVID, but the remote working from home has allowed us to share information across communities and across state lines, which has been helpful for a lot of business owners in terms of webinars and videos and things like that. So hopefully we'll be talking about post-COVID sooner than later. So Janae, are you asking how do you handle hashtags as part of your social media marketing? So Janae, I might be one of those social media consultants that go against the grain. I don't really think hashtags are all that, to be honest with you. I know that LinkedIn and Instagram suggest that you use hashtags. I don't really think that LinkedIn gives you any more visibility when you use hashtags. I think that Instagram for sure, because it aggregates the content and the posts based on hashtags, is beneficial. So if you're going to use hashtags, I would use them there, and I would get a set of hashtags that I want to be known for. So 10 or so hashtags that you literally copy and paste. So not type in every single time, you just copy and paste from your phone and put them into every single post as a first comment. So that's my suggestion on hashtags. Heather, you're in Florida. It's pretty warm here today, Bill. I don't know if you've been outside. Here in Indianapolis, it's a nice fall day. So Heather, I hope that you're still experiencing that warm weather in Florida.
94.
Oh, wow.
Too warm. Too warm.
Hot. Okay, you're welcome, Janae. You're not on social media like that. Yes, I'm becoming kind of exhausted by social media, but I do understand it's definitely necessary for business. My follow-up recommendation is that once you are on social media, you try to get those people from social media and following you on social media onto your email list. So that is the one thing that you can control. So you definitely want most of those people to go from followers or fans to your email list. Heather says your SCORE mentor used to work with the Indian SCORE and recommended this. I love it. Word of mouth advertising at its finest. Thank you for the point, Heather. Thank you for sharing. We appreciate that.
We may be running out of questions here.
I think we are. We're running out of questions. So it's still 12 people on the webinar right now. I think though, Bill, we have done our due diligence in waiting for the questions to come in. So it is 1:17. We are at our hour and 15 mark, if you want to call it.
Right. Well, thank you very much. This was great, and the interaction was spectacular. I think as we get into more and more webinars, people are realizing that it doesn't have to be a one-way street, and certainly if you're sitting there with a question and you ask it and get an answer, there's even more value added. Plus, people who watch this in the future may have had the same question, so they'll be able to run through that. So Toya, appreciate it. You're a pro at this. And
29 and counting, Bill. Next week it will be 30. So
you have to have a celebration.
Yes.
So I think with that, we can end the webinar. Another successful webinar, good attendance, and great content. I always learn a lot, and you probably didn't recognize all the names on the list, but we had some of our SCORE mentors from our local chapter also tuning in.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I hope that our fellow colleagues found it helpful, especially as they go forth and mentor more people. So now they have a base of working knowledge to, share in terms of digital marketing. So thanks, guys, for tuning in.
Okay. Ending the meeting. Bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.